Watch this 90 minutes if you want to become a millionaire in wholesaling real estate. Guys, for the next 90 minutes, we're going to discuss exactly everything it takes for you to become a millionaire in under 4 years in wholesaling real estate. Took me about, I think, 3 years to become a millionaire in wholesaling. Took you 4. And
4 hard years.
it was tough, right? But what we mainly want to do today is share with you our experience getting to that level and really everything you need to know. So the reason why we're talking about this is most gurus and coaches and all these people, they go on a stage with their suit and sometimes a hat, which contradicts a suit for some reason. I don't know why, but
with sneakers,
right? Jordans or something. And they go talk for an hour, 90 minutes, 40 minutes of what it takes to become successful, right? And we don't do that, right? We got nothing to sell you. We get invited to those places, but like, I got nothing to sell. I ain't going to a stage, right? And what I want to do is just have a direct talk to the people. And for the next however minutes we want to go here, we're going to share with you exactly what it takes to become a wholesaling real estate millionaire. This is the stuff that you don't want to hear. This is the stuff that you need to hear. So you don't want to hear it, but you need to hear it. And if you're legit ready to make the change in your life, willing to do the things that it takes, this is the stuff you need to talk about. And this is the stuff we are going to talk about today. So I'm excited. I'm ready to go. We are live right now, ready to help you become a wholesaling real estate millionaire. Do whatever it takes, right?
Yeah. And so I'll tell you how I did it. Zach will kind of share his journey, and you guys can you can take a summation of the truth. The problem is most of you guys are being told, you can bang it out in 6 months to a year. And I'm here to tell you, those are sprinters that are chasing around coaching dollars. And there is a plan. You got to have it. And the really cool thing is everybody learns at a different pace. And some of us pick it up quicker, some take longer. But the whole point is to get you there. So it takes you longer, than who cares? If you get there quicker, God bless you. But the idea is we all go on the same journey. The question is, how long is it going to take you to do? And we're going to share our thoughts on that today. So
let's get it. So guys, before we get going, before we break it all down, do me a big favor. I don't know what that was. All right, do me a big favor. Do an audio check. Guys, make sure you hit that like button. Smash that subscribe button. Hit the bell notification. And comment below your questions. And we'd love to help you out. So without further ado, we got to get you guys jacked up, ready to go, and get you guys pumped up. It's like a little guru stage, right? We got to get you jacked up, get our people getting you ready. But let's break it down. This is going to be heart to heart. This is going to be an eye-opening conversation. I know lives will be changed from this. And now we're really excited for it. Yeah. So we throw the suits off, we threw the jackets, and we're ready to teach you guys. So without further ado,
get the fuck out of bed, bitch. Go. Get up, and then they got go. Time to wake up, bitch. Get up. Get up. Get up.
Oh, yeah. Let's get it, guys. We're ready to go. So I'm Zach Ginn.
I'm Rick Ginn.
And if you don't know who we are, we got some people in the comments saying, who are these guys? How does this person, what do they know? Why should I even listen to them? And all these things. So let's talk out from the beginning. All right. If you don't know who I am, I'm Zach Ginn. This is Rick Ginn. He's my dad. I'm the son. Let's talk about a quick thing about our story starting out. Just really quick. I know most people know it, but for the people in the back that never heard about us, that just watched the guru and they're like, who's this guy? Is this another guru who's going to sell me on something? Let us tell you the truth. All right. You started wholesaling you explain it. You started wholesaling real estate when?
2003. I started on the journey
20 years ago.
And I was 33. How old were you?
3.
Yeah.
3 or 4.
So just to kind of give you a perspective how long I've been in wholesaling, and I did it when there was very little knowledge. and you had to take incredible risky action. You know, there was a lot more deals out then, but nobody knew how to like take stuff down. It was very, very mechanical and basic. So I found wholesaling because I was working my butt off in a corporate job. I went to school. I went to college. I spent my 6 years in college. I know it's too long, but my SATs were a little bit of a struggle. And I worked for corporate America, and I gave 12 years of everything I had. And honestly, I was tired. I was frustrated. I was terribly out of shape. And I gave up all my time to the corporate world. And as this little guy was coming and my daughter came in, I said, I got to make a change. My dad did this. I can't keep doing this. And I just got so pissed off. I just dove into wholesaling. And honestly, I was horrible at it when I started. So I started off trying to buy rental properties, and then the banks wouldn't give me a loan. And then I found wholesaling by accident. And then I went to all over the country. I visited everybody could to figure out how to do this. Some people took advantage of me. It's no different today. Fast forward, when he turned 16, he got curious, got tired of working.
Bag boy job.
Yeah.
As a bag boy.
But like, so
Yeah.
I'm going to stop here. So all I did is because honestly, I just like a regular parent. I felt he was smart enough. I go, maybe he doesn't need to go to the wholesaling route. He could be a lawyer. He could do whatever he want. And I gave him about 3. He kept bugging me and about real estate. So I gave him 3 books to read. I thought they were simple and to the point books. And I gave it to him. I gave him no direction. And if he reads all 3 of them and comes back a lot of questions, we can have a conversation. And not only did he read them, he like beat me up for the next like 30 days. And I'll let you tell the rest of the story.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So about 16, I was really interested in it. Started reading books. Didn't really start taking action until probably a month or 2 after I was 17. But basically what it means is he's been wholesaling 20 years. 16, I've been a bag boy since I was 14. I was kind of sick of it. And so basically when I get started in wholesaling, started listening from him, made it pretty clear I got to do the deals myself to learn it. So started reading, getting questions, and basically just put bandit signs out, which are those We Buy Ugly Houses signs. Got my first deal, 20 grand, made about 100K before I graduated high school. And from there, went to college, learned that I can't wholesale in the college town. And what I figured out was virtual wholesaling. And so I was the first person in the Ginn family to do virtual wholesaling.
It was.
So it's kind of cool. And I was the first person in the family really to do cold calling, right? I was kind of on my own. I did cold calling. I did virtual wholesaling. And that's kind of where I specialized really well because he was in the in-person guy. And he was kind of stuck in this bubble where it's like, this is all he knew. Not that it was bad, but like he was making good money. And so I started adding that on. And then when I came back from college after a semester, I didn't drop out. Everyone thinks I dropped out. I not drop out. I just did school virtually. I was actually allowed to take the tests online, and they thought I was still on campus, but I wasn't. But fast forward there, came back. We started working together as one, and I started adding this new thing called SMS text blasting into his business. And you thought I was crazy.
I did.
You
think
thought I
you
was
were crazy.
stupid. I was like, all right, we're gonna drop $4 grand. He's like, woo! That's legit what he said. Like, yeah, what are you doing? And like, just do it on direct mail. We make more money. I'm like, no, let's try it. Did that. Did virtual. Went crazy, and we basically added on the crazy new stuff I was adding on to his business by working together, and they just blew it up. And from there, we partnered up. We scaled everything up, and now we run a 7-figure wholesaling operation locally, and then an additional 7-figure operation virtually. And we are working currently right now on a 7-figure operation for JV deals. So that's pretty much it. You know, we make millions of dollars wholesaling real estate, and we have a YouTube channel where we teach it. And lo and behold, we created a free wholesaling course, which has hundreds of thousands of people in it now. And the rest is history. So we make millions of dollars wholesaling. Don't even believe me. Don't believe him. Just watch our YouTube vlogs. I show the HUDs. I'm the only one that does it. And most importantly, if you go to freeholding.com, you'll see the scrolls and scrolls of people that are getting their first deal.
Yeah.
Thousands and thousands and thousands of people getting the first deal every single year from us. So that's why I think guys should listen to us here. So we became millionaires pretty quickly in wholesaling real estate, and we're on a journey to teach you it for free. And so we don't have nothing to sell you. So the information here, there's nothing at the end of this where it's going to be like, oh, hop on a call or discover something and talk with it's none of that stupid stuff. Okay. I'm just going to give you information, and I don't want anything else. Okay. I just want you to learn wholesaling and become rich just like me. Okay. This business has helped me. Business helped you. We want to give back to the community. So let's talk about it. You want to become a millionaire. You want to listen to millionaires. Don't listen to a broke wholesaling guru. They don't show any HUDs. They don't do this. All right. It's sad. So let's talk about this. You want to become a millionaire in wholesaling, or you're struggling in wholesaling. We got to talk about something that is going to not be fun. We're going to go straight into the teeth. Like I said before, this 90 minutes, this is going to be the stuff you need to hear, not the stuff you want to hear, right?
Yeah, it's guys, there's going to be this is the talk that you need. The reality is your father or like that crazy uncle needs to give you. And you've got to understand, you guys aren't paying us. So that frees us to tell you the truth. There's no other coach, mentor in the wholesaling space that can do that, because their primary focus is always on sales. And like, listen, I don't even blame them, but that's their business. When you do a coaching model, it is a full-time business. I don't trade my time for dollars. I really don't care if people agree with me or not. This is just the way I do it, because here's the one thing I learned. I told Zach over 20 years, and this is how we came up with the free wholesaling, is I've never met a real estate coach that was happy with what they're doing. You know why? Because they average a 90 to 95% failure ratio, and they all admit it. Why? Because they don't tell you the truth. And that's still, here I am 20 years later, we have the exact same problem. Did you know that coaching in real estate was so much more expensive dollar for dollar than it is today? It was 10 to 20 grand when I started, and now everything is between $97 and like $10,000.
So let's tell you the truth. Let's break down why you're struggling right now in wholesaling right now, why you're not a wholesaling millionaire right now. And if you're a beginner, I can't blame you if you're a beginner. Like, hey, I haven't started taking action. Okay. But for the majority of wholesalers that listen to gurus and do all this thing, let me tell you one thing. Most gurus, most real estate coaches, everyone's like, why do you talk about gurus so much? I tell you about gurus because it's a trap. This is what we call the guru trap. And this isn't even the reason why you're not being successful right now, but a lot of you guys are stuck in the guru trap. We call it the wholesaling real estate matrix. And it is absolutely true. It is a matrix. You're stuck in it. The gurus feed off your money, but they don't want to feed off too much, because then you'll die out, right? They want to give you just a little enough or to keep coming back for more.
To work you up the ladder.
And so they're feeding off of you. And what the guru trap basically means is, we're going to give you some information, but we're not going to give you the complete thing, because if you know the complete thing, then you'll be done, right? So this is exactly the truth of having a pet. They're treating you like pets. So here's the thing. If I have a pet, let's say a pet dog, all right, or a wolf or a fox or whatever like that, I'm going to feed it every single day. So it's dependent on me and me only. Mm-hmm. And so if the fox ever wants to go out and learn how to hunt in the wild, no, I'm just going to feed you. How can I learn how to hunt for myself? No. Here's the food. 4 o'clock every single day, you get it. And it's like crack, right? Like this is all you know. And no one, the person's not going to teach you. Why are you going to learn to fish? I'll just provide you the fish, right? That's the problem. And so the guru trap puts you in a wheel where, I'll give you one example. There's one person that has a free wholesaling course. Free wholesaling course. Whoa. They made it, I think, like 6 months after we had made our free course. And the course will teach you, it has 2 videos in marketing. 2 videos. They're like 4 minutes each. That's all of marketing apparently for wholesaling. 8 minutes. That's all you need, right? They'll give you some marketing stuff, and then they'll teach you how to find cash buyers on like some old website, like List Source or something like that, right? And then there's a little module called acquisitions, and I'm like, okay, I know how to kind of find a seller, I know how to find a buyer, but what do I do when a seller wants to sell their house? How do I close them? You click on acquisitions. Hey, that's a premium subscription. If you want to pay me $15,000, then I'll teach you acquisitions, but I can't teach you acquisitions right now. That's a premium subscription thing. I'm like, so you're going to teach me how to market. You're going to teach me how to find cash buyers, but you're not going to teach me how to close sellers. So you're feeding me, but you're not giving me enough to actually succeed, or I have to come back to you, or I have to pay you money to do it. And so this is, I think, the first thing we have to talk about why you're not being successful right now is because a lot of people are in that trap, right? They're just trying to suck up information as they can, and it's not good. I want you to know, gurus hide half the stuff they want to tell you because they can't justify someone spending 15 grand to learn their content. So avoid the guru hamster wheel trap and you'll do well. Freewholesaling.com's got everything you need. So let's talk about this. And also, we do free one-on-ones on the YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
No other person does that, because if they did that and somebody asked a legit question, they can't answer it, right? And so a couple of gurus have tried to do one-on-ones, and this is how the one-on-ones go. Ready?
Yeah.
Hey, how do I close a seller? What's your script for it? That's a good question. You know, if you join the Zooms that we have on our $15,000 mastermind, you'll know. And that's how, and then they did terrible, or the videos, because it's like, that's a hard question to ask. You know, you got to pay for that, right? So they don't do it.
So free is, the word free is so misleading in wholesaling. And honestly, me and Zach, like, you guys judge for yourself. We're the only ones that we just said, let's just throw it out there. Our stuff's so good because it's got over 20 plus years of me backing it up, his 6 years. And it kind of like, it brings in like 2 generations, and we go, what if we just teach people how to find deals and help them out? And then in return, if they want to do deals with us, that's the ultimate endorsement of a program. And by the way, we have the only course out there. It's 100% transparent. You can look at it without even paying for it. Challenge any guru before you pay them. I want a
Don't
30.
pay them.
Yeah, I want a 30-day trial, or I want to see your course.
Okay. Yeah.
You're never going to get there. Why are they so like scared to show you the course? If they're so experienced doing it, guys, it is a huge play. There is a huge run up in the market, and they say self-teaching courses are the most lucrative thing going right now, and everyone's a millionaire doing it. Guys, it's easier to flip students than it is real estate. I guarantee you that. I know that for a fact. That's why you have this fake economy I got going on. So me and Zach just decided to pull the wool off, just make the whole thing free, period.
Exactly. So let's talk about this. That's the first thing I understand of why you're not being successful in wholesaling. You're stuck in the trap, because I see a lot of people in that trap. They leave the trap, they go to us, and it's good, right? And so let's talk about this. Why are you being poor in wholesaling? Why are you not doing deals? Why are you not being successful? Let's talk about why you're not a millionaire right now. It's the honest truth. Let's talk about the honest, stinking truth. There's 4 reasons when I talk to somebody that has been wholesaling for 6, 7, 8 months, they haven't gotten their first deal. 90% of them fall under 3 categories, and 99% of them fall under 4.
Mm-hmm.
There's 1% that have what I call external factors, right? You know, they got sick, they're in the hospital for 4 months, right? Like, that's understandable. But for most things, it's all in your head. So let's talk about it, right? Number 1, a lack of honesty with yourself. I found so many wholesalers have a lack of honesty with themselves. One thing is, you know, Zach, I cold called for 5 hours today. And I'm like, okay, did you truthfully in your head do as much as you possibly could in that 5 hours? Yeah, I think I did. Or maybe, like, it's just, no. If you got to understand that you have to be honest with yourself to become successful. And so a lot of people are like, oh, you know, I have an accent, so I can't be successful in this business, right? It's like, you know in your head that you know all these millionaires in real estate and in entrepreneurship that have accents, and they're extremely rich. Accents aren't going to be the thing that's going to stop you, okay? The CEO of Google has an accent.
Mm-hmm.
The CEO of Microsoft has an accent. Like, heck, it's the CEO of Tesla has an accent, right? South African, right? Like, most of the richest people in the world all have accents. It doesn't stop them from closing billion-dollar deals. It doesn't matter. So you got to understand that you know for a fact that having an accent's not going to stop you. But you're being dishonest with yourself when you try to make an excuse in your head why you're not being successful. Oh, I'm not good enough at cold calling. It's like, you know what to do to get better, right?
Yeah.
It's a lack of honesty.
So guys, if you can take number 1 to heart, honestly, this is probably the biggest struggle when people start out in wholesaling. And it's okay, because the reality is you've been programmed by your family, particularly your parents, and your peers around you. Look around and look what's going on. I'm not saying they're bad people, but when it comes to business and making money, they're clueless. And if you're trying to learn from those people, if you go outside that comfort zone, you freak them out. And then family always says, Les, you got to go and get guys, I bought this. Go get a job. It's safe. It's safe. There's nothing safe about getting a job anymore. Like you are one stroke from getting rid of it. If you can just be brutally honest with yourself, and remember, it's an internal dialogue. I would write it out, but be honest with yourself, because the reality is when you start coming up with excuses, it's the story you keep telling yourself so you don't have to take action, so you can justify where you're at. At some point, you'll get so frustrated, you'll bypass that. I waited till a trigger went off. But guys, I waited till I was 33. I tried the traditional route. I guarantee you, for the most part, it's not going to work for most of you. So I found wholesaling, and I got really good at wholesaling when I just got rid of my excuses and I got brutally honest with myself. And if you can't be honest with yourself, you'll never be honest with Zach. You won't be honest with me, and nobody can help you. How many times do you talk to another wholesaler? Oh, I'm killing it. I hate words like that because it doesn't mean anything. What does that mean? I don't understand. So listen to your vocabulary when you talk to yourself, because it's the most important conversation you're ever going to have. And be specific. And it's okay. You're going to drop the ball. Just go, hey, I didn't do what I said I was going to do. This is what I got to do. Fix it and move forward. But man, when you tell other people excuses, you're just lying to yourself, and you can't fix a problem. Listen, if you have someone that's overweight and they won't accept they're overweight and they won't get on a scale, there's no path to fix it. It's the same thing in wholesaling. If you're not going to take X amount of actions, I promise you, you will not have success in this journey. So be brutally honest with yourself. If you can do this one task, and by the way, this is not only for wholesaling, it's with your family, your relationships, everything you do in life. If you're just honest, it's just easier. And I don't know why we all been taught to tell ourselves a BS story and we justify it with excuses. If you can't get past this is the head game me and Zach talk about. You cannot become a millionaire. It's physically impossible because you're always going to live under the pressure of your parents and your peers, and they don't want you there because you're going to scare the heck out of them doing it. So be brutally honest. Honestly, if you can't do this one, don't even worry about the rest of the steps.
Yeah.
And by the way, I fought this one. And the reality is, to become a millionaire, you have to change who you are. It doesn't mean to change your character or your family values, but you have to become somebody else because you're somebody that is not making the money, and you have to change. And that is the hardest part of the journey.
That's it. So I go in one-on-ones all the time. I get a question like, Zach, I'm in a non-disclosure state. What do I do? And I say, okay. Do you go to freewholesaling.com when we just specifically say what to do if you're in a non-disclosure state? They said, yeah, I went through the entire course. Like, okay, well, when you went to the wholesaling fundamentals and we talked about non-disclosure states, what did it say? And the person's like, well, I skipped that part. You just lied to me. You just weren't honest with me. You're not going to be honest with yourself. I tell everybody, if you want to be successful, go through all of freewholesaling.com. Every if, and, but, how do I pay taxes? It's all in there. I even have taxes in freewholesaling.com because I covered every single thing. Title companies, questions, all these things. And so if you're not going to be honest with me, you say, oh, I went through the whole course, but you only went through one part of it. The only person you are being shortcoming to, the only person you're failing is you. Guys, you going through the course or not is not going to make me any more money. I will not get any financial gain from you going through the entire course or just going through half of it. The only person who is failing is yourself. You're failing yourself. You're failing your financial future. You're failing your kids in the future of their financial prospects. And most importantly, if you do not get this wholesaling thing done and you work a regular 9-to-5 job, you are robbing time with your own kids. That's who you're failing. You're not failing yourself. You're failing your future family and the time you have with your family that you are going to give up for a 9-to-5 job. And so, no, you're not failing me. I've already made it. We're millionaires. I've already said this, we could shut off the YouTube channel, shut off social media, go ghost, live on a ranch in Montana.
Make a lot of people happy, wouldn't it?
And make a lot of gurus happy. And we could just make millions of dollars off the passive income in the real estate we own right now. Got a lot of multifamily, got a lot of great stuff. We can just do that. We can go stop it, right? But I deal with the constant stupid gurus because I know it's going to help 10% of the people watching. They're actually going to take action and change their family's financial future forever. And so I want you to understand that the lack of honesty with yourself, it's failing you. It's not failing me. Honestly, I care about you guys, but if you're not going to do it yourself, it doesn't matter. And this brings us back to number 2. Your routines are failing you also. I can say this a million times, and I've said this a million times. There are scheduled junkies out here. All right. Do you guys know someone? And just say in the comments, right? Like say, yes, I know this person that is always busy. They are always busy. Like they are, no matter what, they work 30 hours a week, but they're always, I know people that are unemployed. I got friends that are unemployed that are too busy to hang out. I'm like, hey, you want to get pizza?
The busiest broke people you'll ever meet.
I want to get, I'm busy. Doing what? Guys, let me know in the comments. You know some people like that. And that's a certain percentage of individuals that are always busy and always have to be doing something.
Yeah. The word busy is, to me, when people, I'm too busy, it's code word for, I just have to keep my hands in motion. Guys, I used to be like this. I just have to be doing something. And the reality is most people use busy work as a form of meditation instead of dealing with the real problems that will get them where they want to go. Also, when I hear busy, it just means you have lack of discipline, you're not consistent, and you're scared. It's the truth. Whenever I hear busy, I already know already know. I'm just so busy, Rick. Oh, okay. Well, then go back. How's the busy worked out for you? And they just kind of look at me. So I have friends unemployed, completely broke. They're the busiest people I ever met in my life. It just blows me away. So when you hear the code word busy, busy is just a code word for like, I'm going to give you an excuse why I can't do something. Yeah. I'm just too busy. And so listen to your vocabulary. And guys, earlier on the morning, talking about honesty and like people say one of the reasons they hire a coach or a mentor is to make themselves accountable. At the end of the day, you're going to do what you want to do. You have to be
accountable for yourself.
So if you're not accountable for yourself, why do you think you're going to pay a guru to be? They get paid if you do it or not. So you have a scheduled time. They go on. They got 100 people on a Zoom, and they say, "Rick, did you make those 500 cold calls?" And you're like, "I tried." Okay, that's your accountability, and that's what it is. So guys, accountability and the code word busy, you need to recognize it and understand it.
Exactly. I just think the busy thing is like, I get, so let's talk about next part here. This is for the people that are starting out or they're making 250 grand a year in wholesaling, but they're not a millionaire, right? Because they work 70, 80, 90 hours a week. Let me tell you one thing. Those people are who I'm talking about too. If you're making 100K a year, 150 a year, and you're working 80, 90 hours a week, you will not make any more money. The biggest truth is figure out what you do, your 90 hours, figure out what's the ones that pay me the least. You'll figure out pretty quick that cold calling and spending 4 hours replying to text blasts, probably not the most productive money. Now, the most money you're probably going to be making is going on acquisitions appointments or maybe doing walkthroughs and closings and stuff like that. If you can figure out how to train VAs to do some of the tasks for you, you go from working 90 hours a week to 90 hours a week. But guess what? That extra 45 hours you save, use to more productive activities. You go from 150 to 300. Then you get acquisitions and you get out of the business and you actually make more money. Guys, if we did the business, as someone that did 90-hour weeks, 100-hour weeks at 19, 20 years old, and you've done those too, right? All the time. It's stuck in a grind.
I've done them in wholesaling and I've done them in the corporate world.
As someone that does that, I can tell you that I would only be able to make money in half virtual and half in person. But because I have a whole team that'll do the in-person, the virtual, and the JVs, I have separately seven-figure wholesaling revenue sources versus having one. Because I paid people, I took 30% off the top and paid people, but I was able to triple the income by only getting rid of 30%. So I spent a third, but I got 300 back. And so this is the thing about being rich is like being busy ain't going to get you rich, right? The people that brag, guys, I'm not the guy that works 80 hours a week anymore. Okay. In wholesaling real estate, I'm roughly 5 to 7 right now. And that's because you do the other 5 to 7. But like I do other things, I like having fun. Like I'm not the guy that is working. I do work about 40 hours a week on everything I do. But really for wholesaling specifically, it's like, no. And the other 40 is like stuff I like to do just because I want to. Yeah. But the thing is, the people that brag about working 100, 120 hours a week, it's like, that's not going to get the routines are failing you. And once you get to that point, you go from 0 to 100. I get it. You got to grind. But 100 to 150, 150 to 3, then 3 to 5, then 500 to a million. It's not about how hard you're working. It's how smart you're working. And
I
so
agree.
your routines are failing you guys. Just don't be a schedule junkie. Don't be always busy. Find time. And the biggest truth I could tell you is either you find time or time finds you. I challenge everyone, if you have an iPhone or an Android or whatever, find something that's scheduled that finds your screen time. Figure out how much time you really spend on social media.
Or just
It'd be shocking.
just go and audit your day. Go about your regular day and just take a pen and pad, or use your smartphone and document how much time, and you're going to be blown away. It's bad, guys. Like, it's just true. We all have it, and you've got to have direction going on. But the thing is, when you get busy doing stuff that really is not going to make you any money, you got to start to wonder what your priorities is. So being a schedule junkie, the problem is most of the tasks you're planning out aren't really helping you. And so you got to eliminate the ones that aren't going to be helping you generate revenue and grow your wholesaling business. And you got to ask yourself, why do I keep doing this? Most of the reasons why you guys do it, it's just habit. It's just pure habit. It's like when you first go to work out, it's not a habit, it's painful. And you have to remind yourself, you have to set alarm clocks. And then after a few months, all of a sudden, if you miss a workout, you feel like you missed it. You got to do the exact same thing with your wholesaling. You got to schedule in your marketing, especially you guys in your first year, and you got to make it the topmost priority. You got to develop the discipline. You start with willpower, transition it to discipline, and then the consistency is what's the fuel that feeds it. Guys, stop trying to be a schedule junkie unless it is a wholesale generating activity for revenue. Period.
But this is like, I'm not telling you guys to go like destroy your life or anything, but like just schedule out time for things. Don't be busy all the time. But like, I always spend an hour every single day just doing things that are not business related, just to keep my mind off of it. Cause it makes me best, right? Like, I'll watch a documentary for 45 minutes. I'll watch a fun TV show. I'll do everything, right? I'll spend 30 minutes on TikTok just to understand what the trends are and how the people like are. It's not all work, but like, don't be the person that's like, oh, I have no time for wholesaling. I have no time for cold calling.
How many hours do you get in a day?
I get 24. Damn. Hey, everyone gets the same 24
It's the
hours
same
in
thing.
Yeah.
So you have to prioritize. And so if you're super busy, figure out what's keeping you so busy, and then find a time to wake up an hour or two earlier and work an hour or two later. You'd be surprised how 8 hours will just pop in your day.
Exactly. So let's talk about number 3. This is a big one for a lot of people. I know a lot of broke wholesalers that will still come to me and say, it's a lot of work. It's too much.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I love when I got, I had somebody who told me last week, you didn't see it last time. They said, Zach, you don't understand. I was on the wrestling team. I have no time for wholesaling. I was on the wrestling team. I'm like, hold up a second. I feel like an old person saying this, but I was like, back in my day, 6 years ago, I worked 39 hours, not 40, because they didn't want to pay me full time, 39 hours a week as a bag boy. High school classes. I got my AA degree. Okay. So college classes on top of that, high school wrestling, and then wholesaling real estate made $100K. Okay. I don't want to hear anyone's excuses. Okay. No, I'll tell you straight up. I was starving to make some money. Okay. I needed to make money. And so I was willing to give up the bonfires on Friday nights and just hanging out with the bros on Sundays to putting bandit signs out. I still hung out with my friends, but it was during wrestling practice or like during school. But like, I wasn't as available with my buddies. I just wasn't. You know why? I decided myself, guess what? In the future, I'll be the person that always pays when we hang out. I'll take them on places. And when we hang out, it'll be fun. Like now, my buddies, right? I can go out and we can go grab dinner. They haven't paid for dinner when we hang out ever, right? Because I made the sacrifice in the beginning where we can hang out now and they don't have to struggle either. And we can have a blast, right? And the thing is, I made a sacrifice in the future. And it only took me really 4 years to become 3.5 years to become a millionaire. And that was 3 years of sacrifice for the next 70 years of my life. Holy moly, that's a good ROI, right? And the point is for you guys, you might be broke right now, but if you are not you probably aren't struggling enough right now where you're willing to take that sacrifice. Until you're at the point where it's like, I'm done with this. I am actually more willing to spend more time in this business than I am stuck in my position. That's where we're at right now. One example I always say, this is the absolute truth, right? You've done this before. I've done this before. They're called cold plunges, right? Where you go into an ice cold bath to like get your energy up, right? Like it's good for you. It's healthy, but it shocks you, right? Most people, when they have to take a cold shower, it's like, oh, I don't want to do it.
I do like a nice warm shower,
but,
for the record.
Yeah, but like 99% of people, when they are in front of an ice bath, they're gonna say, screw that, right? No, right? They're all gonna say no, and they're not willing to do it, right? Versus a nice warm hot tub, everyone's all for that, right? Here's the thing. If I bring someone who's there, like, nah, I don't want to do that, right? You hate that stuff, so you never do it. But here's the thing.
I'm not a big fan of that.
But if your hair caught on fire and there's an ice cold tub right there, you could care less about how cold that tub is. You are more scared. You are more worried about the fire on your head than the pain of going in the hot tub. In the cold plunge, because it will extinguish the fire. The analogy means your hair's not on fire yet. You're not at a point where you're more scared of being broke than doing the pain of cold calling, the pain of actually going in here and taking action. The thing is, your fear of being broke has to be greater than your being broke forever. It has to be greater than the fear of cold calling, the fear of taking action, the fear of starting wholesaling. Until that happens, you will never take the action you need to do.
So let me give you a couple examples. So I lived comfortably till like my early 30s. Why? Dude, I didn't have a role model. I didn't have guidance. We've all been there. So I did it later in life, and then I had to make sacrifices. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. It's a lot more painful when you're older because I had obligations. I had I had a mortgage. I had 2 young children. Everybody thought I was absolutely losing my mind. Now, because I made a change back then, there's the reason my son is sitting in front of you and the reason why we're both on here. And number 2, he decided to make that sacrifice at 16, 17. So we cut his time in half. And a lot of people are like, oh, no, you probably spoon fed him. I go, dude, I was so hard on him on wholesaling. I made him do everything on his own because I've never bought him a car. I didn't pay for his college. And if you guys are learning with parent, I'm just telling you, I had to make him hungry or he was going to go do something else. There was a risk where he's just going to go hang out with his friends and do what teenagers do.
He sleep outside every night.
I didn't do that.
Okay, I'm just kidding.
I'm just telling you, there's got to be a hunger because you got to become almost obsessed with wholesaling and everyone's going to think you're crazy. And it's the sacrifice that you have to make. It's painful, guys. And I had to do it when I'm older in life, when like everybody else is kind of set and they made some discipline. I didn't make that decision. I screwed around. I played around, and like we can all relate. And what I'm trying to relate to you is the other part of this is a lot of you are treating wholesaling like it's a job. Like it's 9 to 5. I'm going to show up. It's not. It's the farthest thing from a job you'll ever have. And if you treat it like a job, you're going to get job results. What do you get in a job? You get a yearly review. Maybe you get a 2-3% increase if you beg. Now I learned like the best wholesalers always went out and they got it. You got to just get hungry. Here's the reality is he's going to tease me on this. For the longest time I grew up, and this is built in from my father, and let me know in the comments if you can relate. I set the thermostat at a certain number, and I was the ruler in the house. And if you mess with that thermostat, what was my famous line every time somebody changed the thermostat? I don't own stock in FP&L. Please stop changing that. And like, I just got to the point where someone once said to me, he's like, you're just way too comfortable. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, if you have to look at your electric bill, you need to make a change in your life. And so I haven't looked at an electric bill in like 5 years. I don't even know what my electric is. I'm not doing it because I'm reckless.
No, you complained about in December because you put the heat on and by accident overnight and the bill like 5x'd.
It was like a $900 bill. That was the only time I said something.
Your place has too much square footage. That's the problem.
But what I'm saying is, you can relate. I spent a majority of my life trying to regulate the temperature to try to save an extra 50 or 60 bucks a month.
because it was 40 degrees in Florida for like a week. It was more than most people's rents, but it was insane.
But what
It
I'm
was-
saying is like, it's like we're not struggling like enough, because the idea is you want to get to the point where you never ever have to worry about like your utilities again. Guys, listen, I've been there. I've been completely broke. I've tried a lot of different things. I'm just telling you, if I didn't make the sacrifices now, I don't have to worry about my electric bill. I don't have to worry about my water bill. I prepay everything as far in advance. I don't really carry mortgages other than income producing properties. I had to give up a lot in my 30s and 40s to get there. It just took, and remember we always talk about how some people pick it up right away. I guess I'm a little bit slow of a learner, but man, when I get it, it's done. And that was my struggle in school. Like I didn't understand adjectives and pronouns. I didn't understand. Nobody would ever explain it to me logically. And they go, listen, this is the way we're going to teach it. And if you don't get it, you're just dumb. And that's when they told me you'll never get a job. And they were right. I just learned differently. I wanted to learn stuff that would actually make a difference in my life. And I questioned everything in school. I got kicked out of more classes. And by the way, I get kicked out of more seminars, webinars I join in because I ask real questions. What do you define as profit? Because to me, profit's when you take it out of the bank account.
Yeah.
You don't make a profit when you buy a property. And so what I'm saying is you got to make your struggle like count. A lot of you can only get your latte coffees. You sit in nice, comfortable air and you're like, listen, I got a roof over my head. I'm coming. And you're right. And you're entitled to that. But if you really want to make a difference, go out and just put it all in. And here's the crazy part is you're going to get wildly uncomfortable. Everyone tells me it's successful. And they're like, Rick, this is crazy. I'm scared to death. I'm doing projects right now that horrify me. I'm scared to the bone when I get off because I'm going to that next plateau where you got to do like $5 and $10 million purchases and you put up a lot of risk. I have that same feeling in the day I started in wholesaling, and I want you to understand
risk on it. But
but it's like there's like it just they're
There's
much
some risk,
longer
but
projects, and like I'm not used to it, so
I would
I'm
not make you do
uncomfortable.
something that risky.
Or I could sit and just do wholesaling forever and never try anything else, and honestly, I would be comfortable. So you always going to push yourself to really till the day you die, and there's no difference in wholesaling. You've got to push yourself to get wildly uncomfortable to make that change. Because I remember looking up to people, I'm like, how do they do this? How do they have that? And honestly, the one factor, the only way I gauge someone, I never look at their house. I never look at their car. I do look at their boat. That's a different story. I look at how much freedom they have and how much they spend time with the people they love the most. That is my qualifier. Guys, it's not always about how much money you make in wholesaling. It's like, how much freedom do you have? Can you walk away? Are all your bills paid? And can you take care of family during tough times? If you can do that, it's amazing. If you can start it at 17, I'm amazed by you. I didn't figure it out till later. And honestly, if you're 60 or 70, who cares? It's just a number. That's it. You got to get wild. You've got to get out. You've got to figure a way to actually struggle and like tighten it up. And honestly, if most people, they want to look rich, but becoming rich is a completely different story. America is very good at looking at being like, look like you're rich. I got a mortgage, I got a house, all that. You don't own any of that until you actually buy it. And even then it's questionable at that point.
Exactly.
So you have to make that change. Looking rich and being rich are two different directions. Unfortunately, most people, they're just stuck on looking rich. So don't ever judge someone by their assets. Judge them by how much freedom they have, and they have the ability to do anything, anytime they want.
Exactly. So let's go number 4. This is probably the easiest, quickest one, but you're just being lazy. I'll
say that
tell
out loud.
Most people are just too lazy. And I'm not saying that for you specifically, but most people know what they have to do to become successful. There's no secret. They just don't want to do it. Right. And it's the age old question of like, why do people want to pay for, the secret pill that gives you a 6-pack or the ab cruncher that's going to change it? Everybody wants the secret thing, right? The get rich quick scheme. It's all this stuff, right? Everybody wants the shortcut. That's what America's founded on half the time.
It is.
But the thing is, you know what you have to do. There's no secret, right? Why do you think Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, why do you think they tell everybody what they did? Are they a guru that's like, I don't want to tell you how I became a really good NBA player because that's my $15,000 program. No, they are millionaires upon millionaires, and they know, like me, They know what it takes to become successful, and they know they'll tell you what they're going to do. They'll tell you, but they know you can't do anything about it. And this is just like people in boxing, or like I'll say this, it's so funny, but like some UFC guys are like this, like, I'm going to knock him out in the first round, and it's probably gonna be a left jab, and he tells you it's gonna be a left jab. But here's the thing: there's nothing you can do about it, right? And that's the thing about Kobe Bryant. He knows you're not willing to work out 6 hours a day for 6 months for an entire year straight, like he did. He knows you're not going to do that, so he'll just tell you what he's doing. He doesn't care. He's not scared that there's going to be saturation in the NBA. He's better than you, and he's going to work harder than anyone, right? That's why I'll tell you. I tell everybody in our market, what do? I tell everybody, here's the thing. I don't care, because I worked harder than you to get to this point, and I'm still working harder than you, and my team works harder than you. And I spend more in marketing. There's nothing I'm going to tell you that is going to make you more successful than me in my own market, because you're not willing to do what it takes. And so the question now comes, Zach, what does it take to become a millionaire in wholesaling, right? Now, to become a millionaire in wholesaling, there's more than just wholesaling in play here. And I do want to explain this like really quickly. This is really simple, but you don't need to make $1 million to become a millionaire with wholesaling.
No.
When I became a millionaire in real estate from real estate wholesaling, I didn't make $1 million in assignment fees into my bank account. It was like 450, 500, I'm guessing. You know why? No, it was a lot more than that from other stuff, but like, you honestly need, in 4 years, you only need to make $500K pretty much to become a millionaire if you invest it right. You know why? Because you put that $500K into a cash flow producing asset and it appreciates really well. Like when I was doing it, appreciation was nuts back then, but it was like 20% on property I was buying. And so I had to make $500K to make $1 million. Like that was it. And that million produces 120, 150 a year. Right. So it's like, you don't have to make $1 million to become a millionaire, because the compound interest, especially as a 19, 20-year-old kid,
crazy,
insane. Right. And so that $1 million I made when I was 21 years old, when I'm 60, that's probably going to be hopefully worth 5 million, 5 or 6. It'll make me, so me putting in $500K into an investment, it will pay me $500K in passive income once I'm like 50 or 60 for the rest of my life. Right. And so that's the thing you got to understand is like, become a millionaire, make the money, legally pay only the tax you owe, get a good accountant. And then from there, invest it in things. All right. And what do I say? Right. Invest. This is the advice I'm going to do very quick, because it's really boring for most people. Things that are proven, things that have people if people haven't made money in this for at least a century, don't do it. That is my main thing I tell people. When they want to become a millionaire, if you're a millionaire and you want to get risky stuff, we do some of that stuff and we've done well. Just understand that like it can get risky. Go outside this advice. But if people haven't made money with it for at least 100 years, it's not going to be a tried and true thing. And I'm a very safe guy. I'm risky with wholesaling, tried and true thing. So for example, should I buy this picture of a monkey? Every real estate wholesaling guru had lives. They talked about it. It's the future. Go invest now.
They did competitions like, I'm going to invest in this asset, this digital one. I'm going to do this, and we're going to see which one wins.
They're buying monkeys and coins and all this crazy stuff. And I could tell you, they all shut up about that, right? It was the future. It's going to happen next year. Guess what?
I haven't heard like
I haven't heard one peep out of anyone.
NTF or whatever they call. I haven't heard one thing. What? Oh my God! What happened? I thought it was going to change the wholesaling world.
There are wholesalers right now.
Yeah.
That made $100K, they pay their taxes, $70K. Maybe they paid for living. So now they have $30K left. They made $100K this year. They have $30K to invest in their life, right?
Yeah.
They put it all in a monkey. Now the monkey's worth $3,000.
If
you just lost all that work you worked hard towards your family on something that was not proven. Now, stocks have gone down historically from last year to this year, but if you put in the S&P 500, you're not
at your age.
But like in 10 years, you will be up on your money.
Yeah.
If you put it into a rental property, you'll be up on your money. You put it on, heck, even put bonds, which I'm not like a bond guy, but like even some people made money for 100 years on
T-bills right now.
Like you're going to do something, right? And so the thing is, to become a millionaire in wholesaling, you have to be smart enough to make the money and then invest in something that's going to grow.
And that's part 2 is we're focusing on teaching you how to make the money in wholesaling. You're going to have to graduate and learn how to keep the money and invest it and not buy dumb stuff, because I did that in round 1 and it put me behind the 8 ball. And I'm just telling you, we all go through a learning phase. So phase 1 is get started wholesaling, change your life, and have unlimited income potential. And then as you work forward, you have to start asking yourself, what am I going to use this money for? Because wholesaling, you got to work for it. So the idea is if you can buy assets that will pay you and grow in the future, then becoming a millionaire is even easier. Actually, $1 million isn't nearly as much as it used to be. So like saying people are a millionaire, it's extremely achievable in 4 years or less. Some people do it in 3, but we're all going to go on a different pace. And what we want you to take from this video is understanding is it's all in your power. You just got to stop telling yourself these stories that have been programmed in your mind. What programs? Your family, your peers, that TV box, everything you're listening. Now social media is a big influence on you guys. Listen, if you don't create your future, I promise you, the world will try to create it for you. Yeah. You have to take charge. It's 100% within your power. You have to take accountability and move forward and just go, hey, this is how I did in the past. This is going to be wildly uncomfortable. This is crazy. I'm going to get scared. But which is scarier? The old version of you not making any money, completely frustrated, or the new version where you're scared out of your mind, really excited, and you have no idea where this journey is going to go? But I'm giving you a 20-year blueprint of what I did. I was in your exact same shoes. I took the risk. And think about this. If I didn't make that change and take that risk, listen, I could always go back to my old job. I wasn't even worried about that. What would his trajectory have been? You don't know. And honestly, if you want to change the legacy of your family, somebody's got to step up in your family and make that change. We all got to just stop being sheep and doing what everybody else does, because we know where that leads.
Exactly. That's the truth, right? Don't look rich, be rich. And that's the thing too. A lot of people, they'll run up some money and then they'll buy the car, they'll buy the watch, they'll buy a house they probably can't afford. And at that point, it's like you got nothing to invest yourself. What did I tell you to become a millionaire? You have to invest the money. Yes, honestly, the only real investment that I have ever seen that is like guru worthy, that actually makes sense, is a watch. And I'm not telling you to go buy a watch, but most people, if you buy a nice watch for like 10, 15 grand, in 30 years, it will not depreciate. It will probably appreciate. The car, the whip, no, like that won't appreciate. A house to live in, sure. But like the only thing that, like the suit, the Gucci, it doesn't go up in value.
Yeah.
And so like, but don't buy that. Get the stocks first, get some money first. But what I could tell everybody is when you're going up and doing this, like guys, I closed I had to go to the bank today. It's probably a little late today. I had to go to the bank today and wire a large sum of money for this insane like vacation Airbnb I was buying. Do you think I had to go pull up and be all fancy? I pulled up in Crocs and a Seinfeld shirt.
Yeah.
That's it. That's how I pulled up. That's how I do my massive wires. And they had to do like 4 checks on me, but they're like, all right, whatever. And so the people at the bank know who I am at this point now. But what I could tell you is it doesn't matter what anybody thinks of you. If you know in your mind that you got it, that's it. So don't try to act rich. Don't try to brag to people. Just do it, right? And so I got, you go to the point where like I have some friends that like they talk about, I just saw this thing and they're like, yeah, I own that, right? Like they drive by, this neighborhood and they're like, that's a cool house. I'm like, oh, I own 2 rentals.
Every time I go to the bank, you know what their number one question is? What do you do that you can just walk in here and do this, move those kind of sums of money? And I think it's so funny. So last note, I'm gonna leave you. Like, I love people like Keanu Reeves. First of all, he's a great actor. But I don't know him personally. Actually, my wife's met him. That's a whole nother story. But that guy is beyond like the Matrix. Well, it took very, very good care of him. Still one of the best-selling movies still to this day. And that guy goes so far out of his way to be a regular. He rides the subway. He helps homeless people out. He wears regular clothes. He won't shave for months on end. And I really love people that just define their own self, because you know what? He doesn't care what people think about him, but he cares the most for people. And I think if society, if we would switch and look at role models like that, but we're all going to the bling. Oh, I got this. I have that. Dude, go look up Keanu Reeves. The stuff he does is absolutely amazing. John Bon Jovi is another one of my like heroes. Like he has a restaurant where you decide if you're going to pay or not. And he helps the homeless out, and he regularly works in the kitchens. The man's, how much do you think John Bon Jovi's worth? He's back there washing dishes, helping his staff out, because that's what true leaders do. And I love people like that. And I just wish more people would be like that. And I've always instilled Zach, like, it doesn't matter how much money you is. The quality of a man or a woman is defined on how they treat everybody. So I just dealt with somebody, I bought a piece of property, and my whole staff's like, that's the nastiest person I ever met in my life. I'm like, I know, but we just got to get through it.
That's for a different day.
But that it's crazy though. But like, it doesn't matter. Like, if you're going to cheat like the janitor or like the homeless, terrible, you're just a terrible person. I have nothing else to say for you.
Exactly. So that's the part we want to talk about. So let's break down the last part. And this is the part that I think is most important.
Yeah.
Okay, Zach, you told me the problems. You told me what I'm supposed to do, but how do I do it? And so let's just break down really quickly how to just make your first 100K. So for everybody that just hasn't made 100K, they want to make 100K this year in wholesaling. This is what I could tell you to do. All right. Do what we call the 3-3-3 approach. Pretty simple. Okay. They say the best things in life are done in threes, or the best pairs come in threes, right? Dwayne Wade is obsessed with the number 3. Interesting, right? So 3-3-3 approach. Is this simple for everyone?
Except when you get married. Just get married once. Try.
True. But 3-3-3. Okay, think about 3-3-3. All right. So everyone's, what do I do? What do I do with it? 3-3-3. Let's talk about it. Okay.
Go.
There are 3 lists to pull. 80% of all wholesalers who get their first wholesaling deal only go from 3 lists. 80% of all wholesalers only get their first deal from only 3 marketing channels. Fascinating, right? Let's talk about it. Drawing for dollars. List number 1. List number 2, government lists. Remember, guys, at freewholesaling.com. I'll pop it up on the bottom. That's how you actually learn how to pull government lists. Code violations, water shutoffs, fire damage properties. Love government lists. Then paid lists, right?
Mm-hmm.
Vacant properties, high equity, lien, zombie properties, stuff like that. Paid lists, I love it, right? And I'm just running through this because this is all at freewholesaling.com, but it's like, you want to get some money, you make 100K, go after these type of lists. The next part here are what we call the 3 main marketing channels that where most people get their first real estate wholesaling deal. Number 1, cold calling. There's no ifs, ands, or buts around it. Cold call sellers. That is where most people get their deal. But I'll tell you, there's a new, 2 years ago, this was not a case, but it's becoming the case now because of us. Sticky notes. I'm telling everyone, slap sticky notes on houses. Because when you cold call, only 30-40% of them are going to answer if you get lucky.
Lucky.
How about you have an 80% or 90% callback rate? Insane, right? Because if you add cold calling and the sticky notes on there, reverse drawing for dollars, which we teach at freewholesaling.com, you'll be good. Gurus are literally making courses on this as we speak. There are currently 2 what they call ever webinars, where it's a webinar you have to schedule a time for, but it's a recorded video.
But magically, it's available in 10 minutes.
It's available in 10 minutes. And they're all for the sticky notes and methods for using sticky notes. They just copy our stuff. But like I'm telling you, it's amazing. Slap a sticky note on a house. Say, hey, this is Zach. I had a quick question about your property. Boom, do it. Oh, I'm too scared to do it. Number 1, lack of honesty with yourself. You're not scared to go and put a sticky note on the house. It's a limiting mindset for yourself. You know it will get you closer to your success. That's what you got to do. And lastly, SMS text blasting. SMS text blasting was popped up very well for a while, and then the carriers went nuts on everyone. And now it's coming back because they figured out ways to go around the Twilio. AI has come back to actually make all the text blast. And
phenomenal.
If you've ever had a text blast motivated sellers, and you ever use a service where it's like press stop at the end, ruins
You're
it,
done.
right? You're done, right? And so it took a while, but smszach.com right now, we got it all set up where you can use AI. There's no Twilio, and it's pretty much the cheapest you're going to get for 10,000 texts.
One and done.
When you get it one and done. So with the AI and everything, that's a great one too. And then what's the last 3? We've got 3-3. What's the last 3? It's what we call the 3-1-1 split. That is it. The 3-1-1 split. So, okay, Zach, I know the lists. I know the marketing channels, but how should I spend my time? What should I do? Do what they call the 3-1-1 split. The 3-1-1 split. All right. So you spend 3 hours so every 5 hours of work you do in real estate wholesaling, you spend 3 hours doing marketing, 1 hour in acquisitions follow-up, and 1 hour for dispositions. So that's 5 hours. You work 10 hours in a week, 6-2-2, right? Like it's pretty simple, right? And so if you want to work the 8 hours, I think it's 24-8-8, right? That's the split. So that's the 3-3-3 approach. Let's bring it from the top. 3-3-3 approach, all right? 3 main lists, trying for dollars, government lists, paid lists, the top 3 marketing channels. Ready? Cold calling, sticky notes, SMS text blasting, and then doing a 3-1-1 split to end it. That is how you get rich in real estate wholesaling. Now, if you want to learn how to do this, go through the whole step-by-step. Zach, how do I pull a pre-foreclosure list, right? You had a great live on it yesterday. But what I could tell you is just go to freewholesaling.com. We will literally break down. In freewholesaling.com, I literally go on my computer for one of them and I say, okay, we're going to be calling the code. No, we're going to be calling the pre-foreclosures and the probates. And I just pulled them online like that. Just boop, 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 boop. I'm like, give me a market. Okay. And I did it, right? Boom. That's it.
That's it.
And so, guys,
it's not super sexy. It's what needs to get done. And we're sharing this to you because we're pointing you in the direction, not only on our successes, but everybody we've ever affected in this business. And they all point to percentages. So once you get data and you get the number, don't try to reinvent the wheel. You can do that after the fact when you're making plenty of money, but like I'm telling you, go where people are finding deals and don't don't sign up for every new shiny object coming out there, because that's been the real challenge in the last 6 or 7 years. I've never seen the shiny object syndrome worse than it is right now. And so right now you're being attacked by everyone's got an AI secret course. Guys, listen, it's going to change so fast and so rapid. Whatever you learn this month will be wiped out in 3 to 6 months from now. So it doesn't mean you can't pay attention to it, but stop buying courses from people who tell you they're an expert in AI and tell them, show me proof in your business that it works. And
exactly.
Then you could consider it. But I'm just, all of a sudden, everyone's an AI expert.
All right. So that's good. So let's answer some questions and we'll do some one-on-ones real quick. But I want to answer this from Bree. Bree had a good question here. And I do want to break this down. I do want to talk about this. So Bree says, to be honest, dealing with a predominantly male industry in wholesaling is tough. I'm eagerly waiting for female success stories here in the circle, hoping to be one of them soon. Any Flip with Rick ladies on? So shout out to the Flip with Rick ladies on. I will tell you, it is predominantly male, our audience. But I'll tell you this, if you look at the females, they have a higher success rate than the males on this channel. Hands down.
Listen, I've already told you a secret. I'm just like, guys, don't get upset. For the most part, women are better at wholesaling. Why? Because, dude, this is going to be painful. They listen more.
Well, they actually care. And
they care more and they're more empathetic. It's just so many of us guys are trying to run people over.
Cut you off there.
Yeah.
Women are more empathetic. They're not sympathetic. They're empathetic.
But they listen.
You know what's the difference between empathy and sympathy?
Tell me.
Empathy is when you actually care about it. Sympathy is like, okay.
Yeah.
Empathy is like legit in your heart caring. Sympathy is like, okay, here's some sympathy. I feel. Empathy is like, people know the difference between that, right? And so it's like when you get like a boo-boo, your mom actually cares. You're like, oh, you're hurt, right?
I'm like, get up.
You give me sympathy, but
get back out there
is the thing that's like legit to the soul. And what I can tell you is, yes, it's a predominant male industry in wholesaling. It's a predominantly male industry in finance. It's a predominantly male industry in real estate. I don't like it to be that. If it was 50-50, I don't care. Here's the thing. So yes, there are many women in the wholesaling, YouTube space. And not to throw any shade at it, but most women in the wholesaling real estate space that have YouTube channels, they're gurus. I hate to say it. I don't mean but like there's always a course. There's one predominant, and people in the comments can let me know. There's this one women wholesaling group. I'm not going to mention them, but they have $30,000 wholesaling programs and they only allow women. It's like but I'm like, I just don't get it. I maybe this is, I'm back on the times, but to charge 30 grand, but only let women in, it's like, where's the collaboration in that? And what I can tell you is, so you want to see success stories with women. Am I talking to my butt? No, let me show you. Go to freewheeling.com. All right. Ryan and Caleb right here. They're a tag team. They had 100K the first month.
Yeah.
Elizabeth, 50K. Let's go down here. Olivia, 7 grand right there.
Angie,
what did she make? Angie made 10 grand. I'm going down the list here. We got a lot of great women on here. Let's see here. 17 from another Elizabeth.
Angelica, 17 grand.
Well, Angelica, Chantel, she made what? Oh, that's a guy right there. Sorry. Let's see here. Asia, $8,700. Charisse, what? 3 grand. Guys, Vanessa, 39. Guys, I'm not lying about this stuff. Like, women are amazing in wholesaling.
Yeah. And Bree, like, honestly, say no women ever did it. Like, let's just we know that's not correct, but like, who cares? Just go out and prove people wrong. Just do what you need to do. And honestly, as long as you're empathetic, you're diligent, you follow through, and you listen, you'll crush it in wholesaling. Like most wholesalers, the number one problem they have is they use their mouth more than they use the 2 gifts God gave them with their ears. And I constantly try to teach people, I'm like, you got to listen more than you talk in wholesaling, because that's how you really win the game. So Bree, go out there and blaze your own path. We've already shown you there's success out there. I believe in you. You can do it. And honestly, women they do better when they start.
Shout out to Olivia here too. She did her first couple deals. She doesn't brag about it. I'll tell you. And she is right. Most women aren't going to brag about the deals they do on social media. So I'll tell you that
that's
too.
Another advantage.
That's
women.
another thing.
They lose.
The ego ain't there.
They hide their ego. And I told you,
it's
one of the biggest.
They
let it go, because your ego is your subconscious ability to always make you right and feel important.
I'll tell you, if I had 100 women and 100 men get into wholesaling on the channel, the 100 women,
I'll take the 100
all together, are going to do a lot better. And so I'll tell you this. Everyone's like, oh, go check out this girl out. She's on YouTube. And guys, I'll tell you, I've seen all the women on YouTube. There's some good ones that aren't gurus, that are legit, but there's a majority of them. They won't show any HUDs. They won't show any deals. And they are only here for the coaching revenue. And if it's a guy, I'd say the same thing, right? Like, just telling you guys, if they're not showing actual HUDs and they're not if they have wholesaling courses, I ain't going to trust them.
Yeah, guys, because they make more money coaching than they're ever going to make in wholesaling. And honestly, it's easier, it's scalable. And that's why you guys have this phenomenon of everybody trying to sell you a coaching course. It's just true. It's the truth. And if you understand it and recognize it, it doesn't mean all of them are bad, but for the most part, what's your business? Is it coaching or is it wholesaling? And if it's coaching, you need to heed the warning, because they have to move the product line constantly. And you're just a number when it goes through. So,
but yeah, shout out to the women absolutely out here destroying it. Shout out to the single moms and the moms that have kids at home while wholesaling. There's a lot of great ones out here. Some of the ones in the I showed, they're single moms, they're married moms that are taking care of kids at home while being a stay-at-home mom. They just wholesaling on the side, making more than their husbands. I get some of the best stories. I'm like, the stay-at-home moms making more than the husband just at home wholesaling 15, 20 hours a week. Guys, I'll tell you, it's one of the coolest things I see, because, they hustle. And a lot of women out here, statistically more than men, they're not, they can build trust so much better because they show that empathy. And I think, I'm not saying it's the secret. I didn't crack the code on why women are better, but I'll tell you this. They show what we call legit empathy. No sympathy, empathy. And you know how I figured that out? I was telling this woman, she made 500 grand in wholesaling. And we're doing some JV deals. And she legit told me, she said, you know the reason why I'm doing so well right now? I'm like, why? She's like, I show empathy, not sympathy. All these guys in my market, they just show stupid sympathy. I show empathy. I'm like, that kind of blew my mind. Then I thought about it. I'm like, how do I do good on deals? I'm like, I just show empathy. And so I'm telling you, that is what it takes. So shouts to the women out here. Want to give them their flowers. And yeah. So let's do some one-on-ones. You know, I talk to a lot of people on here. I want to help the people out. And yeah. So shout out here to DNA Capital Group. DNA Capital Group says, love the Minecraft background images. I told you, this is a secret. I want to tell everyone this. So this is, if you don't know, this is Minecraft, but this is diamond. So you need a good pickaxe for this to get a diamond.
It's crazy.
And so you're like, what is that? That's so stupid. I'm like, don't worry, the people like it. So yeah, so I'm telling you, look, people like the diamond backgrounds. They're doing well.
I don't even understand it completely.
So yeah, let's go out here and do some one-on-ones, guys. If you want to do the one-on-ones, go out here and go to Wholesaling Houses for Real. That is our Facebook group. And we'll go actually out here and you can hop on, do the one-on-ones. And yeah, that's it. So let's go out here and hop on, help the people out. So first one we got Angela. She's been on here patiently whole day. So shout out to Angela. Angela.
Hi, how are you?
Doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I actually don't have any questions today. I'm on here watching you guys. You guys are just awesome. You have literally changed my life. And I want to tell people I did the whole guru thing, $8,000, no support. You have nobody to talk to ask questions to. You have nothing. And I wish I would have found you before I made my got my first deal, because I know I would have gotten more than 10,000 on it. But I'm just, there's plenty of women in this market. So Bree, if you're listening, like, go for it. Don't no fear, go for the no. I didn't have that before you guys, and I was terrified, but now that I just let them tell me no, who cares? I'm just going to move on to the next one. If what's the worst that's going to happen? They're going to yell at me on the phone. I'll never see them again. I'll never talk to them again. So ladies, get this with me. I love it. I can't thank you two enough for all that you've done. Rick, a few weeks ago when you did the fire damage one, you saved me from a headache. I was able to ask you my questions. In that guru group that I was in, I would have been asking questions for weeks and never got an answer. No matter how many people, they're like, well, you have your own personal person, whatever. And I would ask people questions. They would be like, oh, well, go get it. Like, that's their advice. Go for it. Good job. You're doing good. You're right where you're supposed to be. That's all they would ever tell me. But I am super excited today because I'm going for the no, and I should know here hopefully in an hour or so.
All right.
I have a crazy good deal that I'm hoping to make 50 grand on.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah. I like it.
So, yeah, any women out there, do it, you know.
It's true.
But yeah, I can't thank you guys enough. As much as I can, I get on and watch you guys, but after you teach me something, then I disappear for a little bit because I'm working on what you taught me.
Perfect.
Love it. I'm telling you, just keep going at it. And guess what happens if you lock up that deal and need help? I'll be here to help you out.
Awesome. Awesome.
All right, keep it going. Good luck with it. Let me know what happens. Keep me updated.
All right. Oh, hey, wait. So that deal, because I know you guys aren't doing deals in Idaho. It is in Boise, Idaho. But I do have 2 end buyers in Boise, Idaho that I may be able to give it to. If not, then
we actually are. Hold on. Let me look it up. I've been working crazy to get more people on here. Actually, so let's go
on your map. You don't have Idaho highlighted.
Yep, we have Boise. So if you click on it, we did. I don't think we updated the map, but if you go here to sellmypaper.com,
yeah.
So you go here, right? So the map needs to be updated, but you click here. You got to click on market. So we got Denver now too. So you go down here to, it's done alphabetically by state. Boise, you just click that and then boom.
All right.
So yeah, we got Boise.
Awesome. So then I may send it to you.
Okay.
Let's make
All
some money together.
Well, if you're
Awesome.
gonna make 50K, try it yourself first. All right. I tell everyone, like, you're gonna make 50K, do it by yourself. All right.
But whatever you
No,
need, just
I
be
definitely
patient.
will try.
Yeah, get your answer. Let us know what happens. I'm excited for you.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
See you.
Shout out to we're also doing another deal. And I want everybody on sellmypaper.com or submit their deals to know. I want to get people a little jacked up right now. I told everyone, whoever gets the biggest JV deal, I'm going out to the market and I'm going to hang out with them and I'm going to make them even more money. And it's just a prize for getting us the best deal, right? Because I'll make money off of it, obviously, but they do well. We currently have a closing set for Monday for one of our JV deals. $60,000 land deal. Next Monday. So you're going to have to top 60 grand for me to go out and see you. But looks like I'm going out there and I'm probably going to go to that piece of land with the person, with probably the JV partner. Yeah. And we're going to talk. And it's a cool place. And let's close on the deal first.
Let's finish it.
But I might even go out there this summer just to celebrate it. But 60 grand on a JV deal is kind of unheard of for me. And so I'm happy. I'm excited.
Especially on a land deal.
Not my biggest JV deal, but for the sellmypaper.com, oh yeah.
And guys, we're just trying to make it easier for you guys. If you want to get access to us, we don't sell courses. We just work on deals because we already teach you how to do it for free. And if you go through the course and do all that, the real question is if you take the action and you get with motivated sellers, you now have an option if you're one of our qualified markets. So definitely take advantage of it. I love
how people are going to make an exposed video. A guru's going to make an exposed video on us and they're going to say, you know why Zach's doing all this? Because he wants to wholesale more deals. I knew it.
Expose it.
I got exposed. He's making all this content because he wants to do more wholesaling deals. How dare this wholesaler try to make more wholesaling deals?
Yeah.
It's just so funny. But here's the thing. Gurus won't do what we do. $60,000. You know how many coaching programs I have to sell? That's like 11 coaching $5,000 programs that I have to do. But guess what? I just do one $60K deal.
Yeah, and it's like
hilarious.
It's a very high success rate as opposed to doing what traditional gurus and coaches do is 95% failure ratio, maybe 5% take action, and all you ever hear is about all these people that won, and understanding 95% of them are failing, and that's the problem with our business, and that's why we just flip the script on it, and we just march to our own drum, dude. So, like you do what you do, we'll do what we do. And honestly, if we all work together, we can help each other out.
So yeah, guys, sellmypaper.com. I'm telling you, it's insane. So let's go answer some more questions and let's get it going. So next we got Ori.
Hey, what's up? Can you guys hear me all right?
Loud and clear. What is up?
Man, this is crazy. I'm like, this is surreal. I'm starstruck.
Surreal for me.
Well, first of all, thank you guys for everything. The course is amazing, and like I'm always watching your lives and replays. It's been awesome. So appreciate it.
Cool.
So I have a potential deal in Fresno, but I don't know. It's a commercial property on the end of a residential street, and I think once it's purchased, it'll flip to residential. I don't know exactly how that works, but it's not in a great area, right next to a railroad track. It's fire damaged, been vandalized. So I just don't even know how to go about even valuing a property like that. So I don't know. I just wanted to get your advice and, see if I should just leave it alone or if there's some more digging I should do.
Well, I'll tell you straight up. First of all, if it makes, so this has always been said, but like if it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
And so if the property can produce money, someone's going to want to buy it. Like if it can make, let's say $3,000 a month, I would want to buy that thing, right? It's got to be at a really good price because it's in California and I don't like buying in California. But like if it's for the right price, I'll buy it. It's like a candy machine. It just spits out $3,000. And so it's like, for the right price, obviously I like to buy it, unless there's like, environmental issues or it's like gas in the soil or whatever. But like there's always a buyer for it if it'll produce money. And so that's what you got to look at. So the thing is like vacant land, that's where it gets weird because it's like, it won't really produce cash, but you can build something on it. That's okay. And so do you know if it's getting rent right now, if it can rent out? Like, what's the situation with it?
No, it's not being rented out right now. So when I spoke to the seller, she was saying basically, you know, she was thinking it would just be torn down and maybe somebody would build apartments or something like that. So it gave me some pause. I was like, you know, it's pretty badly damaged. You know, I didn't want to get rid of a lead and just leave it alone before talking to you guys.
Well, or let me ask you a question. I've always used this example, and actually, let's switch up the example. Okay, I've always said about Michael Jackson. Let's change it up. Do you know what the 1979 signed copy of Voulez-Vous from ABBA is worth right now?
A couple million? I don't know.
A signed album just from it's not worth $1 million. It's probably worth a lot less. But do you know how much it's worth? A signed ABBA record from the 70s?
I don't know.
I don't know either. You know how I'm going to figure it out? I'm going to see what other ones are selling for, and then I'm going to guess that off of that. And so we go off for comps. Now, if you got no comps, how are we going to figure this thing out? It's worth something. We know that, right? Yeah. Some ABBA fan's going to like it. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to the ABBA fan club and ask, hey, how much would you buy this for? I'll pay you $50 for it. That's pretty cool. They signed it. I'm like, yeah, you can hang it up. Oh, I'll pay $150 for it. I'll pay $5. And you go to him, he'd be like, I'll pay you $5 for it, right? And so it's like like $1, right? Because he might not be an ABBA fan. It's like it's whoever you're selling it to. So if you try to sell that deal to somebody that doesn't want it, they're going to buy for something stupid. But if you go to somebody that actually wants to get a nice prop, they're going to buy it for more, right? So like, for example, if you give me a signed, let's use for a signed Zach Wilson football, I'll pay you $1 for it. I don't want that stupid thing. If I go to a Jets fan, I'll pay $5. They're not happy with him right now, but they'll pay $5 for it. They're more willing to pay for it because they're a fan of the team and I'm not. And so if I go and I want to figure out what this thing's worth, I'm going to ask people that buy commercial real estate in the area, see what they're going to do it for.
Right. Right. That makes sense.
Fresno is cool because you got a lot of that Silicon Valley money that wants to invest in real estate. And so you got a lot of really rich software guys that are making a lot of money, executives that want cash flow. And so there's a good opportunity in Fresno. You know this, Fresno is the last affordable housing in California. And so there's a lot of interest there.
Yeah. And a lot of it's going to come down to the motivation of the seller. And if they really want to get rid of it and you have an opportunity to strike, because, you know, it doesn't got a lot going for it. It's burnt. It's vacant. It's in a rougher neighborhood. But remember, one man's garbage is another, one man's trash is another man's gold. So if you can, so wholesaling always comes down to minimizing your risk. So say you put it under contract that doesn't work out. Do you really hurt this person? Like the property's going nowhere. So if you can get a great deal on it and the motivation's there, swing the bat because you're not kicking anybody out. There's no renters in there. You might as well just like take a shot at it. But if they want like a super high price and like they think it's worth $1 million, then I would heed the warning and probably move on to the next one. Wholesaling is all about opportunity and figuring out what's your risk tolerance. And in the beginning, most people starting out, you have very little risk tolerance because you don't have a lot of capital. So you just make a decision. So put it under contract for between 30 and 90 days. Try to get it like super cheap. And then try to go out to the marketplace and find someone that wants to buy the opportunity. Not the burnt down, beat up commercial property in a bad neighborhood. You'd be surprised. But you're going to have to make that evaluation. So he did the ABBA album. I don't know where he's going with that, but
because it's so random. It's so random.
It is.
Nobody knows what it's worth. So it's like, what is this property worth? It's like, well, let's ask people who like buying that type of stuff. Yeah. It's pretty simple stuff. Like, you know, I've had these entrepreneur friends that like they flip stuff at garage sales, and I went with them. Yeah. And like, how do they know what something's worth? Just look it up on eBay.
Yeah.
And then offer to buy it for lower. It's simple. That's what wholesaling is, man. You write up a contract, you sell a contract.
Look at your risk tolerance when you do it, and like don't kill yourself doing it, and make a decision. I bought some stuff that I'm just like, man, you're making me nervous. And so
you're not buying it, you're wholesaling.
No, I know. So when you're wholesaling it, you put it under contract. If you have the ability to easily get out of the contract a long inspection period, and the seller kind of knows like you're not even sure if it's worth it, then take a shot at it. But just don't overpay for it. If there's no motivation, I wouldn't even try this deal.
Yeah, that makes sense. So basically, maybe try to see some quick comps or something. get it for super cheap, and then just maybe hit PropStream, try to find some commercial buyers in the area, and just see if they're into it.
That's it. If it doesn't work out, either cancel it or renegotiate it. Just
You're not going to get a landlord that buys 100 residential units. He's probably not going to buy it. It's a commercial guy.
Right.
And so go after the commercial guys.
You'd be surprised.
Okay. All right. Thanks,
Give it a
guys.
shot. Okay.
Appreciate
I
it.
appreciate it, man.
Tim.
All right. Have a good one.
Thanks. All right. Really quick. We got CK.
Yo.
What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, brother? I had to cut my truck off, see if you can hear me.
All right. What's up? How can I help you out?
Got a question, but I want to get your thoughts before I get to the question. So, got a potential land deal on the table. It's in Henderson, Nevada. It's close to Las Vegas. It's 0.37 acres, so it's a third of an acre. So when I contacted the guy, he was very desperate to sell, so he had it at 150. And then I told him like, oh, well, we can't do that. Let's do 95. So we agreed to a 105 price because he needed to get something for his wedding and all of that. So he turns around the next day, listed it on market. So now it's kind of like I'm competing with on market, but we still have a contract in place, right?
Yeah.
So still trying to get this deal done. And I reached out to some real estate agents to get it done, but the real estate agent was like, yeah, you need to give me like power of attorney to actually sell it. And I'm just kind of like, yeah, that don't sound right, for you to be doing that as a buyer's agent. So, and I'm kind of hitting some dead ends trying to sell a deal. I thought it would go decent, you know what I'm saying? It's closely in Las Vegas, but, contacted real estate buyer's agents, hit up some landowners, and other people who just built, custom built homes in the area and hitting dead ends. So what you think?
Let me ask you, what did they say when you offered for them to buy it? Did they just say no?
As far as the investors?
Yeah. So it's either you didn't talk to enough people or the price is too high. What's the reason why they didn't want to buy it?
Only answers I got back was just no. Or no response at all. I would try to hit back and I ain't get no feedback.
Did you ask why?
Asked why. They just said, no, I'm just not looking. That's it.
All right. And did you just give up after they said that? Or did you say, no, can you actually tell me why you're not looking to buy? Is it the wrong areas? Is this?
Didn't push that hard. I tried to push on one, but he tried to just hang up on me real fast. And I was just like, all right, whatever.
Come back and say, why do you want to buy it? I'm just very curious. I need to bring down the
all right, okay.
Because I can change the price if you want, Mr. Cash Buyer. You got to figure it out. Because people just tell you no. You got to figure out why everyone's saying no.
Right.
And how did you come up with your contract price of 105?
Just went just like you guys say, just go for the no, see what it is. I went half and see what he said. He said no to just half of 150. Went up to 105. That's what the final negotiation was.
So you do. So the go for no is, and you did it correct. It's an initial test to see if we're, if there's any sign of motivation. So you don't have to do all the comping and everything. But when you get down to it, you got to go up and pull some sort of comp. I know land's a little bit different, but the problem is a lot of wholesalers will go, okay, well, he listed it at how much did he list it for initially?
150, and that was on for sale by owner.
Yeah. So it's not uncommon for a FSBO owner to overprice stuff. And then so a lot of times when you come in at 95 or 105, they kind of play games with you because now you think you're getting a deal based on what he listed it for. The only problem is here what they list it for, especially on a FSBO. You can't use that as like, okay, now they're motivated. Maybe the real price was 95 to 110.
Yeah.
And that's why people don't want to buy it from me because like the human nature is it's listed at 150 and I buy it at 100. I just stole it from you. That's why realtors play that game on MLS. Everybody plays the game, including some wholesalers. And so you got to make sure I'm like, did I just fall for that and I get stuck? So the go for no is just an initial test to see if you even want to invest time and energy in it. But when you get down to the contract, you eventually have to run your own comp just to make sure you're buying it right. Because if not, your cash buyers are going to beat you up and go, listen, that's not a deal. Zach's trying to tell you, it's like when people call, you might as well use the intel and try to get feedback from them to see what the real problem is. There's always, if somebody called you, they had interest in the property, something turned them off, either the location or most likely the price. Try to find out what it is so you can make a quick decision either to renegotiate or get out of the contract. But do not get a false sense of hope. When a FSBO puts it at this price, you cut it in half, they go, okay. And then you find out the thing's only worth 95 to 100.
Land's weird. It's
Land's
not the
very
same
strange.
as houses. You got to get bigger discounts on land. But that's what we always talk about that. So figure out, talk to more buyers and figure out why they're not looking to buy it. Because I promise you, if you try to sell it for 1,000, people would want to buy it. Okay, 2,000, 3,000. Figure out what that price is. What the price of a piece of real estate is worth is what someone else is willing to pay for it. Not what you think it is. Not what it's what a cash buyer is willing to pay for it. So figure it out.
And a power of attorney
sure.
that's gotten that's crazy. Don't ever do that. It doesn't make
Yeah,
sense.
I don't know.
Hey,
Yeah,
Mr.
that
Sell-
sounded weird when she said it to me. I was like, yeah, that's weird, dog.
Hey, Mr. Cash buyer, would you buy this thing for $1? Yes.
Right.
Okay, so we've established you would buy it for a certain price, but so what price would you buy it for? That's it.
Just
You
let
go
them
back and
spit
say,
out.
hey, I taught my partner because of what we have to do with it to build it, we're going to be at this price.
Right.
Try it out, right? And so, like, dude, would you buy that piece of land for $1?
Yes.
We've established the piece of land has value. We got to figure out where it's at.
And the only way you get that feedback is from your cash buyer. So beat them up and try to get a response from them, because if they called you time to it, they're interested. We just got to find out what's the number that makes it work. Listen, you don't always hit it right on the head. Like some of this is you test, but the most important part is you learn and go forward, and you either renegotiate it or you get out of it and you take your lesson and you move on to the next deal.
That's it. They're saying no to the price, not the deal.
For sure.
All right, man.
Okay. All right. Thank you, brother.
All right.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Boom. Love to see that. Right. So, guys, if you got
taking
any
action.
diamonds today, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and go to freewholesaling.com. That's our free real estate wholesaling course from start to finish, the entire guide. So, appreciate it, guys. Hit that like button, subscribe, go below to freewholesaling.com, and I'll be going live tomorrow. Not
Zach
you.
will be on tomorrow with a little swapperoo.
So, it'll be kind of cool. So, guys, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and